Hey there. We did a recording this morning during the catch-up session to explain the site functionality, but there was an error with the recording, and we thought it would actually be much more useful to put in a public area, not just in the members section, so that anyone can come along and understand the function and features of the website and the layout. So I'm going to share a screen with you all in a second. So my myMojoDojoLife.com. I get this view because I'm already logged in as myself, but I'm also an administrator in the backend, so I get this extra bar on top. The experience that a new user will get will probably look more like this. And what we'll do is we'll just jump between the functionality that you'll see as a visitor to the site and as a member. So first of all, the website name there, and from anywhere, no matter where you've browsed, you'll always see that pop up. So as soon as I scroll up, that comes up. I can click on there at any time and go back to home. There's a search function. You can search all the content in the site. The main page for visitors will show registrations section, and we'll say reach out, which takes us to the contact page. But as soon as you've logged in, that experience changes. So I'm just going to log in as Maya. There's an account I created for her to test with. And that will pop me straight into the member section once I log in. Obviously, the view of the website and the mobile site looks slightly different. Maybe what I'll do from time to time is I'll just narrow this view, and you can have a look at what it might look like on a mobile. You've got the same section, home, about. There's a contact us, which will probably move. Your section as for your profile, you can change your password, stuff like that. Also log out if you need to and cancel the payment at any time. But the members section is basically the current schedule, which is the monthly schedule of lessons and classes, stance, times, Zoom links, etc. The latest lesson, which is today's lesson, or the latest lesson of the week. And there's the latest revision. Remember, at the moment, there's two sections or two sessions in a week for the Mojo Dojo. The one is the main 90-minute session, and the other one is the revision that we do midweek. So you can pop directly into either of them. It'll tell you that this is the latest main weekly session with a link directly to the recorded video and a synopsis, summary of the lesson, the theme, the overview that we discussed, any key slides that I think is worthwhile keeping and looking at, and what the scope of the upcoming midweek session will be, and any lesson resources, PDFs that we attached to there. And you're welcome to leave a reply, make any comments, any questions that you need answered. If you put them here, I'll respond. And like the item, if you weren't chasing the latest lesson, you can just toggle to the latest revision, and you'll see revisions show up as gray, not as yellow. And this will just be the synopsis of the revision session that we had midweek. Jumping back to the members page, the members page will look slightly different, obviously, when you're on mobile, but fundamentally, all of the categories of all of the content, there's a tree structure of it over here. What you care about is the getting started in fundamentals lessons, the recent lessons in any particular order, of all kinds and categories. So that means both general lessons, the main weekly lesson, and the revision. They'll all appear here. And the order will be descending, so from the latest to the earliest. Any events and notices, like the monthly retros and the daily reflections. There's a short snapshot of some of them, but this is a growing library of daily reflections, which you can go into. We'll discuss in a second. And here's the frequently asked questions. There's only 4 at the moment. And this is what you can get to via this link over here. Obviously, as questions gets raised, we will, if they're of generic value to everyone, we will add to these and keep reorganizing this section over here. What you'll notice is, regardless of where I am on the page, there is a option for me to jump to this make a suggestion, which is a little pop-up that can show up at any place on the website. The main thing here, obviously, is you choosing the kind of suggestion you're putting in. And if you give us some information and click send, every single one of those bits of feedback, recommendations, requests, feature enhancements, whatever it is, all gets added to the backlog, and we discuss them once a month during our monthly retro. We do invite all members to come along to that retro so that, first of all, we can hear your feedback, qualify any suggestions you made. You don't have to raise it via the website. You can come along and raise those requests on the day. And then together as a team, we discuss and prioritize them accordingly. Similarly, you can jump to the latest lesson from here, and those are sort of sticky buttons that you can reach at any point in time, up and down here. One of the sections is direct guidance, which you can get to either under the members section here or via the shortcut here. It's 4 main types of direct guidances. So this is not fully populated yet, but this will grow over time. The 4 categories are the voice of the moment, in which we discuss anything topical that comes up in public context, like the war in Ukraine, or the Will Smith slap, or anything like that that captures our public attention, and just a little reframing on how to think about that and how to gain some perspective on that. Emotional triage will be short 5-minute audio clips. All of these will be audio clips, but this is specifically for someone that's looking for a little bit of emotional self-help, psychological self-help. So if you're feeling depression, anger, resentment, frustration, or any other complex emotion, as we go over time, I'll add these little 5-minute capsules. So think of them like the pill that Neo took in the Matrix. It's just a little 5-minute capsule that you can drop into your consciousness to adjust and reset your perspective on the present moment, on your present feeling. Similarly, there'll be anytime awakenings. These aren't to do with the voice of the moment or any specific emotional challenge that we're facing. They're just any concept that broadens our perspective, deepens our presence in the moment. And then there'll obviously be guided meditations, also audio only, and they'll be between 5 and 20 minutes long. Getting back to the members section, one of the other options is daily reflection. Every time you come here, there'll be a new daily reflection. They're just little short reads. They really take 2 to 3 minutes, and every one of them is inspiring, encouraging, or reflective. And you can click on that icon at any point in time and get a little refresh. And as you can see, they're all very, very short. And they're very good just to ground us, bring us back into the moment, and provide a little bit of perspective and insight to our day. I recommend our users and our subscribers do that on a daily basis. Just come and look at the reflection of the day. For visitors to the site, they'll be curious of the About page, which explains everything we went through in the information session. The information session, by the way, is always available from the front page. There will be a link to the YouTube video. You're welcome. It's about, I think it's about an hour long, 45 minutes long it was. And this is pretty much all the details that we shared with the first intake of members that expressed interest in the Mojo Dojo. So back to the About page, there's links to some sections. So all the focus areas we'll be covering in the Mojo Dojo and how they relate to each other. The cadences, in other words, the cycle that we follow on a weekly and monthly basis, and the fact that there's a retro, this once a month all in, where everybody gets together and discuss all the the feedback, recommendations, and suggestions that they have on how to make the Mojo Dojo better. So there's a link to the current schedule, which we'll go through in a second, but there is a bit of a highlight about our session details, the general session times. So again, there is the main session and the catch-up session, and we've just captured the Los Angeles or Pacific daytime here and the Australian Western Standard Time where I am, so that people can jump on this way. Obviously, if you want to join a class, you're invited to check your local time. So just to take a look at an example of a monthly schedule, this is our current schedule. It'll always say the date that it's from and to. It will outline the theme for the month. Again, members are responsible for checking the local times. Here's the weekly schedule. So you'll see this little lesson wheel will always contain a monthly focus. And the focus of the beginning of the first month is stance and intention. And then we're going to progress around the wheel, starting with unlearning, then moving into honoring the cycles, then predictive models, and then practice makes progress. Here's the outline of that. And here's the Zoom details. We can't stress enough that we want people to please check their local times. And from time to time, due to technical issues, we do need to update these Zoom links. So you need to actually check back with a schedule to make sure you've got the right link for either the main weekly session or the midweek session. Again, if you want to look at a detail about those times, they're in this page on the current schedule. And there it outlines the Pacific Daytime and Australian Western Standard Time with their UTC offsets, as well as the specific times and lengths for the main session on the weekend and the catch-up session, revision session during the week. I think that is pretty much it. Again, if you find that you went to the latest lesson and you actually want the latest revision, you can just click on this toggle and you can see the screen changes to gray, and this is the revision. The revisions will always be named point 1 or point 2, depending on how many revision sessions we do during that week for that main lesson. And if there's any technical issues that came up during a session, there'll be a little table like this that just outlines what the issue was. That might not be technical, it might be something else, and any mitigation or workaround that we put in place to make sure that the content was still valuable. And just like the main session, we'll have the synopsis, a summary, and any key slides that came up during it, and PDF attachments of any specific practices that we raised during the session. So you'll see this one doesn't have a video on it yet, but that'll get replaced in a minute, and it'll look pretty much like this one over here, the latest session, where you can click straight through to the video, and it'll it might even open in, that opens in line, but you're still able to jump to YouTube and watch it that way. And that's pretty much it. For users that are not logged in other words, visitors to the site, their experience will look like this. If you do have friends that are looking, or you yourself watching this video is someone who wants to know a little bit more, you can follow that link there. And you don't have to jump straight into the register. This explains it, and this will get updated over time. This is the current pricing. These are the current membership options. Here's a short 11-minute sample lesson trailer. It's an edited video of a recent lesson we delivered. It's an outline of exactly what you get for your subscriptions. Again, this may be subject to change over time. If you want to know more, this takes you to the About page that we visited a second ago. For now, there's no other membership tiers, but if we do add them, details will be put here. And what we're thinking of is to have 2 basic tiers. So the active and engaged member that intends to come to lessons and be part of the active learning community that way. But some people prefer to take a more passive stance or jump on at their own pace in times that suit them. And we'll create a second tier membership for that, so that people can just use the content in a more passive capacity. Again, frequently asked questions here. As questions come along around this, we will, if they are of general appeal, we'll make sure that this section gets added to. So someone would be able to jump here to learn more, and that would take them to the About section that we covered already. And again, these are shortcuts that someone can jump straight to at any point in time. Okay, so I hope that pretty much covers what you can find on the website, how it works, and you can extrapolate what that experience might look like from a mobile perspective. It will look something like this. There you go, again, jumping to the membership section, but you can now suddenly see that there's this little icon browser that comes up. These two little buttons still float, but the data is ordered in pretty much exactly the same way. Browsing and drilling into any of these posts works exactly the same way. And there's the breakdown of the different categories of content. If you are interested in any specific category or tag, like let's say, for example, I went into this post over here, Hearts Break, Hearts Mend, but this functionality is universal on both the mobile and the desktop side. There'll be the article. It will belong to a category of articles. So clicking on the category will take me to a list of any other posts that are written in that same category. And underneath each post, you'll see a little cloud of tags. And every single post is tagged based on these sort of subject matters that we cover in all the courses, all the lessons and all the reflections, and even some of the direct guidances. So if there is something that you are focusing on that day or is sitting on your heart, you can, like self-ownership or perspective, for example. Let's say somebody reads this and what they take away most from this reflection is something to do with perspective or stillness, and they'd want to read more on stillness. So the site will recommend related reflections or posts, whether lessons or anything else. But you can also say, no, I actually want to dive deeper into self-ownership, and then there'll be any lessons, reflections, and or other content that's all related to the same tag. And I think that's pretty useful to everybody. So that's pretty much it. I hope that resolves all queries and questions about what the site does, how to find things, and where to direct people that are not yet members and how they find any additional information they might be after. If there is any information you want, please feel free to go to the contact page and hit us up over there, or simply email info@eyeswideopenlife.org, and we will make sure we get back to you. Thank you so much.